everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I created this spooky skull candle, and I used the Dollar Tree plastic skull. Now I'm going to show you as I go along what supplies I actually used to create my specific skull, but of course you can change those supplies however you want to decorate yours. Now no worries, because I will put the list of supplies that I actually used to create mine in the description box below. So if you want to check that out and use that as your shopping guide, go right ahead. Alright, so let's get to crafting. We're going to start off with this little plastic skull. And as I said, I got mine from the Dollar Tree, and this is what it looks like. And now, because we're going to be adding some decor up at the top of the skull, it might weigh it down and make it topple over. So we want to add some weight to it so that it doesn't do that. So I'm just going to go underneath, take a knife and cut a hole, and I'm just going to do a crisscross, just like that. Be careful. And then I'm just going to pull these out like that, out of the way. And you can place anything inside there to weigh it down. I'm going to be using these decorative rocks. I found these at the Dollar Tree. Of course, they don't have to be decorative rocks. You can use some beans. But I'm just going to add enough in there to give it enough of a weight. Now when I add my little rocks, every time that I'm going to set this up, I'm going to make sure that I shake it down so they get to this front part. And that keeps it weight down and it won't wobble over on you. Alright, so I'll finish filling this up with as many rocks as I feel is necessary to give it enough weight. Alright, once I've added enough rocks, and that is sufficient for me, I'm going to just push these back down, just like that. And then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and add hot glue to just seal this up. Now the heat of the gun helps you to kind of push these back and put them back sort of into place. And just add enough glue to seal that up, and you're going to let that completely dry. For my candle, I'm going to be using this cardboard insert from bathroom tissue paper. Of course, you can use that from a paper towel. And then I've got some little tea lights. I got these at the Dollar Tree. Alright, so I just want to make sure that they are working. And this tea light will go right in here. But if I let it go, it just falls right in. I don't want that. So we're going to create a little ledge on the inside here. So just take a little tea light and just eyeball about how far down it goes. And it's about right here. So now that I know that I can go that far down inside to create a little ledge. How do I do that? I'm going to be using my hot glue gun. Now make sure you have plenty of glue sticks. So we're going to go in there and just start slowly adding a line of glue inside the roll. As you can see right there, we're going to go all the way around the edge on the inside. Just make a line and keep adding until you go all the way around, and you're going to let that dry. And once that's dry, you're going to add another line on top of the line you made and just kind of build that up, making it wider with more glue, and of course you'll let that dry. Alright, here you can see that I've added enough of a ledge around. I've built it up, and now my little tea light rests in there and it doesn't fall through. Now there is one more thing that I did, and you don't have to do this, but I want to reinforce this because it is kind of soft and I don't want it to get crushed. So I'm going to add something inside of it. Alright, so I'm just using a regular plastic bag and I'm going to roll it up. And then I want to fold it to about the length of the inside of the candle, where it'll fit. Here's a little ledge about right here. It'll fit this little section, so you want to fold it up to fit in there. Alright, so now that I have it about the size that I need, I'll go ahead and insert it underneath. And as you can see, that kind of fills up the little ledge and creates a little shelf there as well. So we're just going to push it up as much as we can without pushing it beyond that little ledge. And I'm just going to use some hot glue to hold it in place, and it won't move on me. Once that is dry, I'll turn it around and add some glue on the bottom part to seal that in. Alright, so once all that glue is dry and the one that I added on the bottom is dry, we want to put our little candle on top of our skull. Now if I place it like this, it's sort of like at an angle, and I don't want that. I want it to be as straight as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue it from this front part right in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a little ledge of glue here on the back so that it stands as level as I can make it. And then we'll add some again, like I said, on the front part here, and then we'll place it down where we want it. And anywhere where I see little gaps, I'll add some more glue. And I'll just add a little bit at a time and let it dry. This will take a little while, but it is so worth it because then you'll have a nice straight candle on top of your skull. Alright, so there we go. It is dry. I will give you another little tip. As I took one of the little pebbles, the ones that I threw inside, and I put one right in there, right underneath the back to add a little bit of a shelf. I glued it down in the glue that I was already pouring in there, and then I just poured more glue over it, and it helped to keep it, you know, straight so that it doesn't keep wanting to go down. And there we go. So now we want to go ahead and add the drips of wax on top of the candle. Again, like I said, this can topple over very easily, as you can see here. So you want to shake down your little rocks, and then you can place it down on your table or wherever you're going to display it. Alright, so now we're going to build the wax drippings at the top of the candle. All you're going to do is start pouring out the glue, and you want to do it on the outer edge so that the glue drips down the outside and not on the inside. And we're just going to go all the way around until we've got enough drips. And see, in some spots you might have to do a little bit extra to get a longer drip. And that all just depends on how you want it to look. So you might do your drips, and then when you're done, it's all dry, and then you feel like you need a little bit more, and add more. Alright, so we're just going to let them drip and dry. Alright, so once it is all dry, and it's still a little bit wet on mine, but once it is all dry, I'm going to take it outside and use some black spray paint to spray the whole thing. You might decide to go ahead and use some acrylic paint that you can brush on. Alright, so I also want to paint my tea light black to match my candle. Now, unless you find some tea lights to match whatever color you're going to paint, you can skip this process. Alright, so in order to spray paint this, I don't want to paint the little flame part, so I'm just taking some blue painter's tape and just gently wrapping around that. There we go. I'm covering that up. Now once this is dry and my skull is dry, we'll go to the next step. Alright, so there we go. Our tea light is painted, and so is our skull candle. And it looks absolutely beautiful, as you can see right there. Now I'm going to go on to the next step. But if you like the skull just the way it is, you can skip the rest of the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, enjoy. If not, let's continue our crafting. Alright, so the next step is for me to decorate it with some glitter, and here I have an assortment of glitter, so just pick whatever you want. I do have some white glue here that I'm going to be using to attach the glitter to my skull and candle, and a couple of brushes. I want something that has a bit of a broad brush head because I do want it to cover a lot of territory, and then I need something that's thin like this to create some lines and some designs. Alright, so I'm beginning by adding something underneath our skull because I want the glitter to get caught onto something so that I can pick up any excess and then put it back into my container if possible. Alright, so all I'm going to do is just start brushing on some glue where I want my glitter. So I'm going to do the inside of the eye and my skull in black, but you can choose whatever you want to do. I do have this glitter that's kind of purpley black. I think it's really pretty. I'm going to use that. Now you can make a pair of these if you want, or just make one or more and decorate them all different. Alright, so just some glue in there, sprinkle some glitter, and shake off the excess. Alright, so now I want to add another color around the edge here, and I want to create like a little bit of a flower, so I'm going to add glue around the outer part of the socket of the eye, and then I'm just going to do some little petals, maybe just some little dots going around to form that flower look. So let's go ahead and do that. So first around the eye, Okay, so here you can see that I'm just doing some little rounded kind of petal-like shapes with the glue. And now I'm going to sprinkle the purple glitter all over that. Now, if you don't want to use glitters, you can use some stickers and just stick them on. And then I would cover everything up with some Mod Podge to seal those stickers in. But there you go. See, that gives it a little bit of a flower effect. And you can do whatever you want all over your skull. I'm going to continue decorating this so that I have a nice, beautiful look on it. I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe outline the loops of the little petals on this flower with maybe some silver or some gold. But I have to repeat first on this side what I did on this side. So I'll be back once I have a little more decoration on this skull. Alright, so this is what I've done so far. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some glue between the teeth and between the teeth. That's all I'm doing, is just decorating little parts here and there of the skull. Alright, so I have finished decorating my skull, and I also did a little bit of glitter on the candle part itself. There we go. And I actually did one yesterday. It is quite different. I kind of like this one a little bit more. It has a little bit more embellishment on it. And so there you go. You can see that you can go pretty decorative, or keep it a little bit simpler, or not decorate them at all. Alright, so now I want to decorate my skulls, and I've got some Dollar Tree florals here as well. And I've got some purple roses, some glittery, shimmery branches here. And this is from their fall collection. There's some purple berries. So just pick whatever colors you want to coordinate with your little candles. Alright, so I'm just going to be using my wire cutters, and I'm going to be cutting the stems really short. I think I'm going to be using this leaf on the rose, so I'm just going to push that up and just cut it really short. I don't need the length. And I'll do that with both bushes. And then for these, I will also cut them short. I don't need them to be super long, so just cutting them at the very last little branches at the bottom there. And because I don't need them to be this long, I will be cutting some even shorter. So I'm going to cut right there, make 2 stems out of each of these. All right, and I'll be back after I've also removed these berries, and those I'm just going to pull them right off. I don't need to cut anything, just like that. Alright, so now I'm going to take these roses and create like a crown on top of the skull. So I'm going to put this one as close as I can right up here in the front. I'm actually going to trim off more of that stem. It's a little too long, and if this tends to fall apart, what you can do is just add some hot glue and glue the pieces together so they won't come apart. Alright, and using some hot glue, I am actually going to attach my flower to my skull. And I want it to be as close to this as I can. So I want to cover a little bit of the front of the candle here. I'm not going to worry about the back. I'm going to do another one on the other side. And whatever I do to this one, I'm actually going to repeat it for this one. So again, you may want to just do one, or maybe you want to do the pair or do extra. So that is up to you what you want to do. I also want you to keep in mind that when you're adding your flowers, you are covering a lot of what you did with the glitter. So you want to keep that in mind as well. So think ahead that if you are going to add flowers to your skull, then maybe you don't want to put too much glitter way up at the very top, at the you know, the front, and up here, because you're actually going to cover a lot of that. Also, like on the sides. But if you don't plan on having any flowers on them, you're going to leave your skulls just as is. Of course, you want to decorate them as close as you can to the top edge of the candle. So as you saw, I added another 2 roses on each of the sides here, kind of going down our skull here. This is what it looks like on the backs, but we're not going to worry about that yet, okay? We're just going to worry about what we're seeing in the front. And then you can take these little bits and add them in wherever you want. If you need to cut them even shorter, of course, go right ahead and do that, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove some of the stem because it's a little bit too much. I'm actually just going to put it back here. Now, of course, I want to decorate my other skull here with the same floral crown, and but for now I'm going to leave it like that just so that you can see the two differences, and then you can enjoy that and decide what you like to do. Okay, so I'm going to take some of these little berries, and I'm also going to cut them into smaller little bits, and then I can just glue them wherever I wish to put those. Okay, I'm going to put a little bundle here in the front just to kind of cover that little bit there at the bottom of the candle where all that hot glue was. So we just want to cover a little bit of that. And I'll turn it around, and then I can add some berries back here as well. Now, to add some extra decorations, I do have this sparkly tulle or mesh that I got from the Dollar Tree as well. It's got some little spider webs. I'm going to cut a piece like that. I'm also going to cut enough to make like a little bow here of this tubey type of mesh. I also got that from the Dollar Tree, and I also got some ribbon like this, and then I can just make like a little bow, just a couple of loops, and cut. And I'm going to twist one of the little tails a little bit extra just so that I have all the glittery parts up facing upward. I'm going to take this and make my loops as well, and then my little mesh piece, and gathering it up, putting it underneath. And then I'm just going to take a small piece of chenille stem, and I just grabbed one long chenille stem and cut it into 4 pieces. So cut in half, and then cut the two pieces in half again, and you'll have 4. So there we go. And I'm just going to push it into there, and I'll have a little bundle. And just make as many of these as you want. Add them wherever you want. I'm going to add this one back here, and that'll cover that, and I think it looks really pretty just with that on there. And let's put some glue to make sure that it does stick on. Lots of it. And I don't mind the chenille stem showing too much because I do have gold on my skull. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. And then I might just go look around and see if I want to put any more pieces. I feel like I want to put one here in the front as well, but I might just do it a little bit smaller. Alright, so to finish off my project, I have these little glittery spiders. I believe I got in a packet of 12, and I did get these from the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just going to glue this somewhere on my candle here, just to add a little extra creepy spookiness right there. Alright, it seems I forgot to record an outro, so I just want to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a kind comment down below, share and subscribe, and as always, enjoy.